Hello. So today we'll be looking at stairs. We have three more sessions left. So we look at stairs and then adding rooms and then tagging those rooms. We'll also look at tags and the room tags. So we'll move on to our week 8 components, which is to creating component stairs, modifying the stairs and working with ratings. And then how do we sketch customer stairs? And I've looked at ramp before, but we'll go through that again. So we move out to the notes. In the notes, we mentioned stair by component. So how do we make these stairs? You can see here the sketch of different types of stairs. Over here, we're looking at the U. This is like combination of U and then, so what do we describe this as? Combination of L and U maybe. And then this is a spiral staircase. And so when we want to make stairs, we go to the architecture tab and then we would see this icon for stairs. And then Revit offers two options to create the stairs. We can have the stair by components or create a stair by assembling the run, landing, and support components. This is you customizing your own stairs, which is the stair by sketching it yourself. And then when we create a stair, the first thing to set is the base level and the top level. So imagine that you have your floor that the stairs will connect you between floors. So you have that base level and then the top level, and then to determine the height of the stairs. And for both the base and top, we can specify an additional offset, just in case you want it to end at a different stairs, different position. You use those as a reference and then add, like with other tools, C plus or minus something if required. And these values are all set in the properties palette. So for the first stair by component, when we use stair by component, we can still sketch the run, boundaries, and risers manually if we want, but it's supercharged with quick templates for common stair types. After a stair component is placed, we can still modify it to accommodate our requirements. In most cases, we should be able to get the result we want by starting with the presets available for stairs components. So this material is very helpful. It's from Delft University that has a lot of materials and they do a lot of nice construction research. So stair by sketch, when we sketch the stairs by hand, we can combine it to draw a stair with the run, draw a stair boundary sides, and then drawing a stair by each run is quicker for common regular stairs. If you want to create irregular or more complex shape stairs, you need to draw its boundaries and each riser. So stair type properties, regardless of the method we create stairs, we make sure that we set up the type properties first, just like we'll see shortly now, before placing the stair components or drawing our run or risers. In the early stages of the design process, placing highly detailed stairs doesn't make sense. Remember, we're doing the basics, so we'll look at what are the basics we need to make a staircase. Therefore, it's recommended to use the monolithic stair as it is the least detailed. So with that, we go to properties window, click and edit the type. And then under the family, we'll choose the system family cast in place stairs. It's recommended to create a duplicate of the existing stair type. Like we saw, every element in Revit, you need to create a duplicate before you start adjusting the settings. So make that duplicate before making any change to the type properties. The main properties to configure are, the first thing we want to choose our minimum run width. What is the width of each run of the staircase? The minimum thread depth for each, and then the riser. So we have those calculation rules when we learn the staircase, whether and which calculation rules to use when creating the stairs. These are ignored after creation when modifying the stairs. After setting up the type properties, we click OK. We should also note that the instance properties in the properties window of each individual stair that is not set by the type. So remember, we talked about the base level, the top level, the stair is created from and to these levels, and then we can have a multi-story top level where we can copy the stairs. So I'll show that as we're drawing. So I'll pause here and then go on to Revit interface. When you open your Revit, this is the first thing that you see. So once we go here to new, we want to pick the architectural template. So we look at it out for not the imperial. Imperial is for feet and inches, and then metric is for millimeters and meters. So we pick metric architectural template. Okay, and then allow that to load up. So before we draw our staircase, we will make those levels that we want to connect So let's make a simple ground and then upper level. So here are the things we're talking about. The properties, the palette is here. If you look up here, you see properties. And then I have my properties and project browser collapsed together. I can actually separate them if I drag. So come to the base here and then drag it out. So I hold press and then drag it out of the properties. So when I started learning, I used to have them like always here, but you can bring them together. So that depends on you and your drawing and style. So try to get them back together now. All right, so we want to do our staircase. Before that, we want to create our levels. So in order to do that, I will take a floor now. And then we see that the floor, we're making our floor in level 1. So I'll draw with a rectangle. So you can see that as we try to draw this floor, it's giving us the dimensions. So this is 20 by 28 meters. And check the green mark to finish up that floor. And then we want to see what heights we have now here. So I can go to one of the elevations, you double click on it. And we can see that we have a distance of 4 meters between level 1 and level 2. So I can change that to 3 meters. And then I'll go to level 2 and make another floor. But usually when we are drawing, we want to repeat the thing that we have from level 1 to level 2. So let me show how that can be done here. I've made the floor. I can add some walls. So I go to architecture, select wall. And then remember we are back in our properties browser. When we select the wall, usually we have that a 2 to 5 wall. So I'm picking that here. And then we know that we have a height of we have the height of 3 meters. But what you see here is 8 meters. So what we can do is to constrain the wall so that it goes with the height that we have set, which is at level 2. So constrain it to level 2, which means that anytime we adjust level 2, the wall will adjust with it. So we're starting at level 1 and we're ending at level 2. We want to draw it. One thing we need to look out is how to place the wall. So we go to this point and see, do we want to be the center line placement, finish with exterior or interior? I usually use the center line so that it sits on the base that we're drawing. So I have a wall here. You can also use the rectangle like we used for the base to draw the wall. So we have our walls now, and then we have this base. So let's put the upper floor. So usually if you want to repeat the same thing on the upper floor, on level 1, what I need to do is to select everything and then copy to clipboard. Then I go to paste. I go to paste, align to selected level. It's important to make sure it's aligned. Align to selected level. And then we see there's level 1 here. It wants to drop it on, but I say I'm dropping on level 2. So if I go to the project browser, I'm into level 2. We'll see that we have the same thing repeated here. So if I go to my 3D now, we'll see that we have 2 levels. This is level 2 and this is level 1. So now we want to put our staircase to access both, to connect level 1 to level 2. So I go back to level 1 and we said in the architecture tab, going to the stairs, if you click here, go to the properties, we will see that we have the default staircase. So now we want to make our own staircase, to make changes. The first thing we do is to edit type, duplicate the existing stairs and give it a name. So I'll say stair 1. I still have my caps lock on, so put that off and say stair 1. Okay, so now we can make any changes with once. From our design rules, we know that we can make our staircase, our tread, some literature say 220 to 300. I'm saying 190 here. So usually I'm saying that it's 250 here. So 250 to 300 here. So let's say I'm making it 300. And then the height, the riser height should be about 150. I've seen as high as 175 and up to 190. So let's say 170, 150. So this is like your comfortable stairs. So once we set the riser height and depth, it will help us calculate it. So if we look at this calculation rules, edit it, you'll see here, it says use the calculator for slope. Calculation rules are here that 2 times riser plus 1 tread is 630. And then actual result of calculation, it gives us 600. So, okay. If you want to change that, can edit it. And then the run type. So this is where we are going to set the things in our staircase. So if I come here and click in this run type, I can change the riser, the tread. I will make the staircase without changing it, and then I'll come back and change it so that we can see the difference. Okay, so run type, the support and all that. So the width is something that we can change now before we start drawing. This is 1 meter. I can make this 1.5 since I have a big building. Okay, so now we have the run, and you can see here that this is highlighted. Once something is highlighted, you know that that's what we want to do. So this is how to draw the straight flight of stairs. So for instance, I can come to this side. So usually if you want to draw it, it will ask us, you want to draw from the center, the left, or the right? So now I can pick the left. So that when I come here and click, it starts drawing on the left side of the building. And so you take note that as you're drawing it, we're counting the risers. So we see that we have 11 risers, 14. We remember that we shouldn't go more than 16 in one direction. So usually maybe 14. If you wanted something under the stairs, you can stretch it up to 16. So I'm doing a 13 here. And then it always draws from the lowest point and it starts going up. So I can come to this side now. We said left. So I can click on this side and go back. So, but that's overlapping. Okay, so add, we have 1.5. So add to 3 and then go back. So I'm going back up and you can see that it has created the number of risers suitable to meet the 2 levels because we gave it that information. So if you look at this overlapping here, I can select this and then use my arrow to move it, make sure that it's away from it if I want that, yes. So now I can check the green mark. We see that we have our staircase. So to see the staircase properly, I can get a camera, go to view, go to the camera and then draw one here. So once we put the camera, we can see the staircase. And if you need to see more, we just zoom out and drag the edges. So this is the staircase. And if you look at it, the stair looks funny because it's sticking to the floor. We need to create an opening there for that. So for that, I'll go to level 2 and then select the slab. If you can't pick it, either hit the tab button till it gives you what you want to select. So this is the wall. I'll go to the 3D and select the slab. I'll use the tab button here to make sure that works. Okay. Good. So select the slab and then we want to edit the boundary so that we can cut open the slab where we have the staircase. So edit the boundary, go back to level 2. And in level 2 here, I want to be able to see the stairs. So let's try to see through the wireframe. Okay, so I'll come out of this, cancel. I want to discard, yes, so discard the edits. So in this space, we want to be able to see what is under before doing that. So I'll go to underlay on the properties. So this is telling us the properties of this screen, this particular sheet that we're in. So we want to see the range base for the underlay. I want to see up to level 1. So I'm applying that. Now I can see the staircase. So let's go back and select the slab. So I'm going to So what I can do is to select this and then hold down Control, add all the others. So holding down Control and clicking others will add, while Shift will subtract. So I want to set these to be above the slab so that I can get to the slab. So what I need to do is add an offset. The slab is 150 mm. So let me raise it up by 150. And so I can see the slab now. So if I click on it, if you click the wrong thing, just hit escape. Okay, so there we go. Select it. And then I want to edit the boundary. Edit the boundary, go to level 2. So this line is what is the boundary of the slab. So right now we want it to be open where we have the staircase. So I go to line and draw around it. So we started climbing from here. And sometimes our slab may begin maybe 3 steps after because we have enough headroom. So we go here and then remember it's going to end at the end of the staircase. So I'm coming here. And then we want to cut off this line here. So we use the split element, split there, and then delete this part. And then make sure that the lines are not crossing each other. And we check the green mark. So as we do like the floor, so I'll attach it. So now we see that we have our slab around the staircase. And if I look at my 3D, you can see the stairs, and then look at the view rather, and then we'll see the stairs going up. So now we have our staircase and the view mode. Remember, we can see our diagrams. The first thing is wireframe. You can see every component through everything. The second one, we can see through the hidden line. And the next one, we talk about shaded. And then we can see through consistent colors. And then we can see through the realistic mode. So there we have our staircase inside the building. So we talked about having other additional settings. So with our staircase this way, we can select the railing and delete it. So like this, I've deleted the railings of it. So Ctrl Z brings it back. And then we can change where the railings are attached to. So I select the railings, hold down the control, can select all the railings. It's selected already. So we go to the edit type, and then we see rail structure, the baluster placement. So all these settings, we're talking about basics, but all these settings will help us to change. Sometimes you can just change the spacing. So distance from previous is 275 now. So this is basically going to reduce the space between each one. So apply, okay. Okay. And we see that the spacing will reduce. And so we go to the edit type. So here they have different types of joints for the angles. You can see it was already vertical, so say no connector, real connection. So once you click in the space, you will see the options for that particular setting, depending on what you're designing to. The height, use top rail, you can select that or uncheck it for, let's see what that shows up. So for the handrail one, we have the type, click here, and then you can set other details for it. It's talking about mitre, talking about the profile, what kind of circular handrail, transition should be simple, the extension style, none. If I click here, I can see the options for extension style. Should it be the wall, the floor, the post? So it says none now. So if I pick wall, and then a termination, support material. So it's a lot, it's very complex. It makes room for us to do. So type, let's make them uniform. So it says pipe wall mount for type. So here, material. I'm clicking on it. So material finishes, we didn't select, but we can go on and select other materials for the rail if we don't want the existing one. And then let's see, what I changed there about the wall. Illustrate the extension style. So we said wall to, yeah, so okay. So okay, apply. The reference is below. Control Z. So once you make a mistake in the setting, let's do Control Z and then it will return back. And so what I wanted to show us too is how can we adjust the staircase. So select it, edit type. Here we have the run type, the landing. If I click here, we can come in and then say we don't want risers. So thread is on, you can remove risers and then go down to the sides. Okay, so threads and risers apply. Okay, so we have only our threads now, no risers. And then the supports here, we have the right support, the left support, middle support. So here, this right support, I can come here and say none. And then come to the left support and say none. And then we can put a middle support and you can set the width of that middle support. This is 1. You can, let's see how this looks before we try to increase. So you see that now we have the risers and then a middle support. You can go ahead and change. Let me see. This part of the stair is on the wall. So sometimes I usually put only one handrail to scroll in. So that was coming around here. So let me put it back. So we have our handrail and the stairs. I think changing it to make it look nicer. So control, select all, edit type. So the rail structure, continuous, baluster placement will help us. So usually I'll come in here and then set the different types. So it says the baluster placement, each one by picking a square one. So up under here, we can change it to round. We can make it still flat upright. I'm changing it to round, the top rail element. Okay, host. And then distance from previous, I reaching that to 150. And then let me see, apply. Okay. So it's no longer square but round now. So we have our staircase here. So let me go back to the text. We talked about a multi-story top level, width of stairs, and then the desired number of risers that should be in the stairs. We have fixed that. And then we also talked about location line. So when you draw a run, you can either draw the center line or the left or the right side, which we set before drawing there. We also have the relative height, that's the location of the base and the top of the part of the stairs. So the staircase, you can choose for it to begin or end with the riser. There's a setting for that. And then the actual width of the actual run width is the actual width of the run of this part of the stairs. So Revit distinguishes between type and instance properties of objects. Each object has one and only one type. Then type properties are shared among all objects of the same type. They can be changed using the edit type button in the properties palette. Each object has its own instance properties. These are not shared with other objects. Instance properties are changed directly in the properties palette. So let's go and see how we can make the stories for the stairs. So we go to that elevation. Can either go from here or through this panel. So let me make some more floors. So for here, I will make an array and increase it to probably like 4 more floors. And I'm picking it from here and dropping here. So we have other floors. And on this level 1, we can do this, no, this is level 1. Let's make a section. We can click here and then draw a section to look at that direction. So normally when you do this, can go to view. Okay, that we can see the section of the stairs that way. So I go to east. I want to make the stairs repeated for each floor. If I don't want to use the section, I can do wireframe. So I see the stairs, select it. So remember to use the tab to select things that we want. So I've selected the stairs. I go to properties. And then in these properties of the stairs, we have our base level, like we saw in the text, is from the base level 1. Base offset means that we can increase the distance or send it lower than the base. So plus, or you can put the number without the plus, and then it will take it higher. So let's try that. So we say base level 300. 3 meters. So 300 stairs exceed stop, I cannot reach. So this will give you an error that we are moving above the level that we set, but to still move, okay? So now it has moved higher by 300. Control Z will get us back there. So I come to select it again, press my tab till I have it selected, and then top level, same thing, we can put in a top offset, and then we see the actual desired number of stairs are 20. The actual depth is 300. That is the tread for the stairs, 300 for here. So let's go to that section that we created now. And then I select the stairs. I'm looking out for making it in multiple stairs. So if I select it here, I go to select levels to create where they are visible. So okay, go to this place where the levels are visible. So I select the stairs here. They're already selected. Just deselect. So you click twice, you deselect it. Tab. Okay, so I'll go to a view where I can select it and then come out here. So select the stairs, go to the east elevation, and then now we can select levels where we want the stairs to connect levels. So click and then go to connect levels, click on that, connect levels, and then we're going to here, control add it and this, and then I will check the mark. So we see that the stairs will repeat for all the levels that we have added. So we can go back to it and then say minus, and I click on this and check it. It removes the stairs that's connecting to that level. So with this, we are done with the stairs tutorial. You can get more details on staircases and other things that you need from Revit Kit, Balkan Architect, amongst many other materials online. And also send me an email or message if you need to clarify on things. Thank you for watching. Bye.